Hi and welcome back to yet another episode of Richer in Crypto. This is episode number 8, and today in this episode the Fear and Greed Index has went up 6 points compared to a week ago. And the total market capitalization of crypto, the crypto space, has went up from 1.65 trillion to a 1.74 trillion US dollars. Relevant news. First of all, Senator Wendy Rogers introduced a bill proposing to make Bitcoin a legal tender in the US state of Arizona. Of course, this does not mean that Bitcoin will be legal tender in the next couple of months or even years in the United States, because there's a whole process within the government of the United States. So a senator cannot solely make a decision on making a Bitcoin legal tender. Also, India finally warms to crypto with tax digital currency. And Thailand scraps the 15% crypto capital gains tax following public backlash. And we will see a lot of news such as this in the next couple of years, because this is part of the whole adoption process, the part of the process where Bitcoin and a lot of other currencies will go in mainstream and will eventually be adopted, and legal tender will arise for specific currencies in the near future. Also, Michael Saylor tweeted today that MicroStrategy purchased another 660 Bitcoins for $25 million in cash at an average price of $37,865 per Bitcoin. If we take a look at where the market stands today, we're looking at the Bitcoin chart on the daily, and we'll go into deeper analysis in just a minute. But I just wanted to show this to you, the Wyckoff accumulation phase. There is a potential that Bitcoin might go into another Wyckoff accumulation phase. So as you can see on the left side in the middle of the screen, you can see the spring on the left, which was the bottom. And then after that, we've seen another big rise for Bitcoin. At the moment, Bitcoin sits around 39,000 US dollars. And it might be, if there's another accumulation phase, that we could see another dip before Bitcoin will spring to newer highs in the future. It's a possibility. It's not a fact. We'll have to wait and see. But it's something for you to take into consideration and keep in mind when you're investing into the crypto space now. Because maybe now you're thinking, okay, we have seen the bottom. This was the dip, so I'm going to buy the dip now and then ride the gains towards 70 or 80,000 US dollar Bitcoin. But if the Wyckoff accumulation phase will happen, that means that we will see another drawback in the near future. So that's something that I'm watching out for and that I will be very careful of if we can see a fake out to the upside and then another sell off before we get the definitive spring towards new highs. So let's dive into the Bitcoin chart. To start off with the monthly chart of Bitcoin, you can see that January, of course, ended in a red candle. And if we measure how much Bitcoin dropped in the month of January, it was 16.6% at the monthly close. And now February is starting with a green candle. And like I stated before, if we go into the deep bear market, Bitcoin will need to dip below this price level of around $28,500, $600. The moving average convergence-divergence is still bearish. At the beginning of January, we had a bearish cross. And if we go back in time, we see that usually takes a couple of months to go back bullish again. So we will have to see if Bitcoin decides to go up, to rally up quicker, or that we are in an accumulation phase where we will also see another dip towards the downside, maybe even bounce on the red line or a little bit above that, and somewhere between this area. It might have a few bounces before it moves up. That was something that we'll have to wait and see. Now you're looking at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. So there's a potential trade coming up here. And there's an option to go long here if Bitcoin, and it's trying to break out. There is some volume, as you can see here, but the breakout has not been confirmed yet. This is the 4-hourly. So what I would really like to see on the 4-hourly is some green candles closing above this symmetrical triangle, confirming the breakout. We need to see volume, and then there's a very nice opportunity for a trade. This is Ethereum on the daily chart, and as you can see from the bottom of this wick here on the daily, it dipped to $2,160, and now it sits almost 28% higher in the last couple of days. So in only 8 days, Ethereum has rallied, and yes, there is some interesting buyers because we see some volume coming in. And still also, this could be a potential danger zone where we could see a rejection. I'm not saying the rejection level is here, but it will probably be around this level that we can see Bitcoin. We could also draw a retracement. Yeah, it's at $2,796. It's at the area where Ethereum is now. So this will be some resistance for Ethereum. It needs to break through that, and else if it doesn't break, if it doesn't hold, we could see a retracement back until this trend line over here, or even at the bottom, which is around the $2,157. So exciting times. The week started off pretty well. No guarantees yet. I am not super bullish yet. There's still a big way to go, because from where Ethereum sits now back to the top is a 75% increase. Solana on the daily chart, we can see a bullish cross on the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, and also the relative strength index, which has multiple rejections over here, now is retesting this trend line on the RSI, the relative strength index, and Solana has been oversold because the relative strength index on a daily was at the level of 20, which is extremely low. So this could potentially be a very interesting time to get into the market for some Solana. And we need to be aware that, of course, the price could go sideways for a little bit. And this means that if there's a rejection over here, we could see a retest of the previous low, or maybe even this level over here. And maybe even another attempt before Solana and other cryptocurrencies will finally break out. So this stage that we are in now is important and very interesting to watch. And we have to keep an eye on the Bitcoin chart as well. If there's an accumulation phase over here going on, and if the spring comes for Bitcoin, and then the rest of the crypto will also be booming, of course. So I think the next 2 months will be very interesting to see whether the crypto space will explode before that, or that we have to wait for the accumulation phase and for the next between 30 and 90 days before we see newer big movements in the crypto space. The final currency for this video is the currency CRO, which is the crypto.com native token. We can see a bullish cross on the MACD, and also the relative strength index for CRO is seeing an increase, and that's of course related to the bounce that we are seeing here. And I wonder, and I'm very interested to see if this movement to the upside will continue, or if CRO is going to get a rejection at the previous levels where this was support. And at the moment it's now struggling to get through these levels. So I'm wondering how this week will end for CRO. But yeah, at the moment you can see that this currency had an increase of around 30% over just like the other cryptocurrencies, most of them. So it's a pretty decent bounce on this deep correction that we've seen in crypto, because also this currency CRO has seen a correction from the all-time high back to the low where we are, where we were just a couple of days ago, 66%. But as you can see, if you can see where it's coming from the low in June 2021. That was the big correction last year of the whole crypto space. And after that, it's seen a rally of 1,108%. So that means there's still a lot of growth also possible for CRO. So this could be an interesting time to be invested in this currency. And in my opinion, of course, via the Visa debit card. And you can get one yourself. And if you use my referral link in the pinned comment down below, you can get $25 worth of CRO tokens if you are opt-in for the Ruby, Steel or higher, which gives you 2% or more cashback on every transaction. I'm personally a very big fan. I'm almost through my first year of using this card, and I'll create some content on this channel as well about all my experience after using it for such a long time, and how interesting it is for cashback. So to wrap up this video, the thing that I'm watching for is these levels and whether or not Bitcoin will bounce or go sideways here for a Wyckoff accumulation phase before springing to higher levels, just like we've seen here before. Resistance, support, and this was the spring of the accumulation phase where Bitcoin went up through newer all-time highs. So if there is another Wyckoff accumulation phase playing out here, we will need to watch that, of course. But if it has anything that will look like the previous one, we could see another deeper correction. So it's really something to look out for, that this might be some sort of fake out before going back to the levels of maybe even 33,000 US dollars. So we have to wait and see. And of course, in the meanwhile, we huddle on and we keep a close eye on the market. We keep a close eye on global economic news, events, and we will incorporate that into the content. So thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the content, please leave a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.